We're here in Jakarta in Indonesia ahead of the Jakarta E-Prix, the third time that we're coming here to Jakarta. It'll be the fourth race that Formula E have done here before, and I'm with a man who's taken part in all of those races. We probably won't talk about the result in all those races because from memory it probably wasn't your best outing. Sam Bird from NEOM McLaren. It must be good to be back because this is a kind of part of the world that loves electric cars.
You do indeed, and firstly it's great to be back here. It was something that I think we missed on the calendar. It's nice to come out to this part of the world, and we do have a growing and quite a large fan base here. So every time that we've been here, we've had absolutely packed grandstands. So yeah, excited to be back here. Although I was expecting more heat. It's actually quite nice.
This is meant to be the warm. I thought, if we come in like monsoon season or whatever, because it's been raining most days, there's a bit of a breeze, it's nice and cool. They said this is the hot season, and this is like
this is not hot.
Unheard of. But as a driver, this must be nice to have this breeze because previously here we've seen ice baths.
It was really, the last time we came here 2 years ago, you walked out of the hotel and you were already sweating.
Yeah.
It was really, really challenging. With the conditions as they are, we're expecting some rain, I think, throughout this week at different times during the day. So that could make it challenging. We could see more wet sessions. This season's been full of wet sessions, as we know.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's certainly been very, very different coming here this year.
I joke about it. You've not had a great run here before. What's the reason for that? Because it seems like a track that would suit you historically.
Yeah, I think before I didn't understand the tyres as well. So in season 9, I was quick in free practice, very quick in free practice, and I got it wrong in qualifying.
Right.
I was on for a decent race in the first race here and then had a mishap going into turn 1. We don't need to go into that.
We don't.
And then race 2, actually, I didn't even make the grid. The car had a battery fault, and I didn't make the start. So difficult weekend.
Not all your fault though, is what I'm hearing.
Well, no,
positivity.
That wasn't my fault. Race 1 certainly was my fault.
So you're a bit balanced.
Yeah.
So you're on an even keel coming into this
don't
race.
see it like that, unfortunately. But look, fresh start this year.
Yep.
We've had a great prep going into this one, and the car, on the whole, this year has been very competitive, very quick, good in qualifying and in the race. So if we can take advantage of that, have a decent quali, then, we know that we can race.
What have you been telling Taylor Barnard? Because you've raced here before. Your rookie teammate Taylor is having a whirlwind season, which you must be very proud of because it is a team effort, and he's come into this team. He substituted for you last season for 3 races, and since then he's had a great season. I'm sure there's words of advice that you're giving him at all moments of the season.
Honestly, I don't need to give him any advice anymore, do I? To be honest, he's been, except Ollie Rowland, who's leading the championship, I think Taylor has been the standout driver of the year. And if there was an award for driver of the season, I'd certainly be giving it to Taylor for what he's been able to do in a rookie year. What do I tell him? We chat as mates.
Yeah.
He's a kid compared to me, but we chat as friends. And yeah, he's got a very long, very exciting career ahead of him.
What advice would you give him then here in Jakarta, having driven here before?
Stay behind me at all costs.
Do not overtake.
Do not overtake, especially if I'm leading. Then you know your place. Stay behind me.
This might be too soon, but don't pull a Lando.
Oof.
Oh, am I allowed to talk about that?
We can speak about that. Look, unfortunately, these things happen in racing. But the way that Lando came across and owned it shows the maturity of the guy and also the humility of the guy. Whether people perceive that as a strength or a weakness, I personally see it as a strength. It takes a real man to be able to put your hand up and go, that's on me.
Yeah.
And that's what he did.
Well, we talked about that on the show this week on talkSPORT, that he does get a lot, doesn't he, about he's not mentally strong enough, he's too nice, but holding your hand up, admitting you're wrong, that's the way to go. New calendar for next year. Other things that we need to talk about. The Gen 4 car's been teased as well. New calendar for next year, kind of similar to this year with a few to be confirmed, maybe coming back to Jakarta. What do you make of it?
So far, it looks good. We look at the calendar now and we know that it'll change in 3 or 4 months' time. So not getting too carried away, but right now the season 12 calendar does look quite tasty.
Okay, I actually caught up with Alberto Longo, who's the Chief Championship Officer, co-founder of Formula E, and he talked more in depth about what the calendar holds and how hard it is to put a calendar together.
It has to be a mix, a little bit of stability on the calendar, which is so important not only for us but for the whole ecosystem. But then obviously some news, and in this case some very good news. As as a Spaniard, obviously, and as a founder of Formula E, having a race in Spain is for me the biggest highlight of the season. But also, having changed the venue in Miami to a venue that actually is more ad hoc, or let's say it's a perfect track for Formula E, I think is the right decision, to take. Everything else is basically the same calendar that we had this year, which give us that stability that I was really looking for, and then we have two surprises, two TBDs that hopefully we will confirm in the next World Motorsport Council in the month of October.
Let's talk about the to be confirms then, because we're sitting here in Jakarta. We know that the Indonesian people love the race here. It's been here for 3 different years now. It's going to be 4 races in total. Is there a chance one of those could be Jakarta?
I mean, obviously, is one of them. One of the options that are the TBDs, because we're negotiating or talking to the people. There has been a complete change of rulers in this country, not only at a national government level, but also at a regional and local level. So new governor, new mayor, a new president of the country. Definitely, they're all coming, by the way, to this race. So there is will on their side to renew the contract. There is will on our side to come back here. So definitely it's looking good. But as it's not confirmed today, obviously we couldn't announce it into the previous calendar. Yeah?
Of course. And the other race is rumored to be another race in China. We've been there recently. We've seen the success of the Shanghai E-Prix. It's obviously a big market for Formula E, so that would make a lot of sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for us, it's China, US are 2 top markets, probably the only 2 markets in the world where we will do 2 races, in 2 or more races in those markets. And we're discussing with quite a few cities in these both markets, and hopefully, it will get confirmed by. In that case, I'm really hoping that in the next 15 to 20 days, we will have a solution.
That's Alberto Longo, the Chief Championship Officer, and a man who's always in and around the paddock, dressed up incredibly smartly and looking much more important than us.
Yep.
Let's get on to it, Sam. Club World Cup. Are you a big fan or not?
God. I want to be, but I'm not at the moment.
Is that because Man United are not in it, though?
No. It's nothing to do with Man United. Laughing stock, but... it's the clowns of football world at the moment. But I feel like right now football's in a place where it's so for the viewer. We just want more and more and more, and expect these human beings to just play every single week of the year. So when there's a week without football, viewers at home, there's no football on this week. So we need to invent something for there to be more football. I think that it detracts away from the Women's Euros, which is a crying shame considering women's football is on the rise. Plus, these players, this was their summer break. Next year, they're going into a World Cup. They don't get a rest.
No.
Like some of these players, some of the top quality players, I get that fans around the world want to have them on display and on show at all times, but they will burn out.
But the other thing is, there's not even full stadiums at this point. You've got Liverpool, you got Chelsea playing in front of 50,000 empty seats.
Some of these places, they look miserable.
Yeah.
Because they're just not getting a rest. I mean, it is all year round. I think that this should be a competition that could be... I don't know how you do it. I really don't, because you've got the Champions League, you've got other... countries and different continents having their own kind of
for World Cups, and
it's a lot. It's a lot for a player or a team that has many internationals and a successful team.
Yeah.
And also, how can they have a Club World Cup without Liverpool there, without Barcelona there, without Juventus there?
I think that's what makes sense.
Without
Chelsea in it, and they qualified in 2021, and it's now 2025.
Yeah,
and it makes no sense.
So
if Man United win it, would your opinion change though?
No.
Okay.
Because I think from an athlete's perspective, they need a break, and they're not being given a break. And I don't know how you get around that, because FIFA want to hold this new tournament every 4 years. So that means that within a 4-year cycle, a top player will have to play in the Euros or the Copa America or the African nations or the World Cup and the Champions League and domestic leagues and domestic cups. Where's the time to recuperate?
And I think it's different from motor race, isn't it? Because a lot of the people in this paddock will do Formula E, they'll do WEC, they'll do other things, but that's a choice. Whereas if you play for Liverpool, you have to play for Liverpool when Liverpool play games, right? So
exactly, that's exactly it. And you're not going to not want to play for your country if you're called up. So you are busy from December 31st till December 31st, and you might get a 3 or 4 day period at some point, and that's it. Or
something's got to change,
or get injured.
It's ridiculous. Anyway, we've waffled on about football too much. Let's bring it back to this paddock. Your season so far, Sam, I think you'll be the first to admit it's not a season that you would have hoped for. It's been a little bit, I would say it's, again, not your fault in some instances.
No, in some instances, no. In some instances, absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes you make your own luck, and I haven't made my own luck in some scenarios. Some scenarios it's been more challenging and out of my control, but the pace has been there, but it's been sporadic.
Yeah.
Results have been close. Like I finished 1 second behind the guy that finished second in Shanghai, but I come 7th. I'm at the back of that train. So we're there, just need something to click.
We know that McLaren, the brand McLaren, are stepping away from Formula E. What does that mean for the team itself? Can you give us any insight into how that will change things next year? Because it's not McLaren as a team as such. It's a bit of a complicated one, isn't it?
It's too early to say anything about this just yet.
Okay, that's fine. How about you?
Too early to say anything about this just yet. I can't look. Right now I have nothing to talk about on that. All I can do, Jono, is focus on the here and the now.
Yep.
My focus is to finish the year strongly with NEOM McLaren and ensure that whatever guys this team continues with, we're further up that way in the pit lane for whatever happens next year.
And the great thing about Sam Bird is, as soon as you have got something to talk about, you'll talk to me about it, right?
Mate, I've got you on speed dial.
I love this. And you must have watched people doing Le Mans. Is there,
of course,
you want to be involved in Le Mans in the future?
I love Le Mans and I love WEC. I love the camaraderie. I watched Le Mans. But as I've said, right now, the focus is on my team here, ensuring that we can do as well as possible.
Lovely. Okay. Finally, I watch your social media quite intently. I know you look at mine occasionally. You know when I'm moaning about flights being late.
Yeah.
What's this skydiving with Schumacher all about? Tell me more about how did this come about?
Cool. So that's a long time ago now. Landed in. So I was the reserve driver for Mercedes. Landed in Montreal. Got to the hotel, and my phone rings, and it's Michael. So Michael goes, Sam, what are we doing tomorrow morning? What are you doing tomorrow morning? And it was a case of, well, we're going to the circuit together and we've got meetings in the afternoon. No, don't worry about that. We'll get there in the afternoon. You're coming skydiving with me tomorrow morning. Meet first thing, crack of dawn in the morning. We're going to go skydiving. Now, I've never done this before, and it's normally the kind of thing that you book weeks in advance on either a stag do or fundraiser or something like that. And you can prepare yourself. So when you go into bed at 11 o'clock at night and you know that in 6 hours time, you're going to be waking up to go on a skydive, to fall out of a plane at 11,000 feet, but with your hero, you're not going to say no. I was never going to go, Michael, no, I'm not. Even though I got halfway up, I was thinking, oh my God, this is grim. This is horrible. But I've got some great pictures, some great memories. We actually completely missed the landing site. We landed like a mile and a half away from where we were supposed to. I don't know why. So then me and Michael were in some field. We've got to try and find our way back to Montreal skydiving site with
dragging his parachute.
Dragging a parachute, holding a parachute. Yeah, it was funny. Really funny.
Is there anything that Michael could have asked you to do that next morning that you would have said no to, like shark diving or?
No, I would have said yes.
Really?
Yeah. Walk on coal, maybe. Yeah.
And what did the team make of it out of interest? Because, I think being in Formula E.
He's a 7-time world
so
champion.
he can basically call the shots.
Pretty much say, if I've not got anything in the morning, I'll do what I want. Thank you very much. But he always searched for the adrenaline buzz. Like he really wasn't. I mean, look at the way that he pursued actively getting very, very quick on motorbikes. He obviously loved his skiing. He loved skydiving. There's so many things that he loved to do that were kind of thrill-seeking.
And then, I mean, not as thrill-seeking, but we always saw him in football games as well.
Loved his football.
The final question for you, Sam, before we end this preview of Formula E, which has not been much of Formula E chat, but out of you and him, who's the best footballer? Because you're pretty nifty as well.
I was good when I was young. He was still good when he was in his 30s.
Right.
So I'd say Michael was better. Okay. Michael was better. I mean, you didn't see me getting absolutely torn apart by Francesco Totti about 5 or 6 years ago.
Sorry, hang on. You played football with Francesco. How I missed this?
I marked him. I had to mark Totti. And when he so there was a point in the game where he didn't really care.
Right.
And he was just walking around. But then there was a point where he turned it on. And I remember him controlling the ball in his chest, popping it up in the air, watching Del Vecchio bombing it down the wing on the left wing. And he's hit outside of the foot volley about 50 yard with a curl on it to Del Vecchio's toe.
Right.
I'm done. Take me off.
I think when we saw you playing football in Portland Timbers, that was probably more your level. And that's not an insult. It's pretty high level still.
Can I just say, these shoes are not made for that. I did hit the crossbar.
Yeah.
I was okay.
Yeah, you were pretty good, I remember.
Exactly.
Phil Neville
nearly signed me.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah.
Imagine that, Phil Neville signing you to play for...
Yeah. I'm out of contract here at the end of the year, Phil. So, look, if you need someone,
What's your position?
Man. Left back in the changing room.
Left back in the changing room. Sam Bird, thank you for joining me. We look forward to seeing you get some good points here in Jakarta this weekend. And, of course, you can listen to that on talkSPORT 2 exclusively in the United Kingdom from 8:30 in the morning on Saturday.